Welcome to today's webinar. I'm Tim Stewart from Visual Decisions, and I've spent decades helping companies transform their operations using lean manufacturing and cutting-edge digital tools. Over the next 20 minutes or so, we'll explore digital standard work initiatives and how you can create a more agile, efficient, and resilient operation. Let's get started. In today's session, we're going to explore how digital standard work can take your lean initiatives to the next level. By the end of this webinar, you'll understand what digital lean standard work is and how it differs from traditional methods, why standard work is crucial for implementing digital lean, how leadership and support staff play a key role in sustaining improvements, and how which key technologies that enhance lean practices we can utilize without overcomplicating them. Let's start by defining digital lean and what we mean by it, and how it builds upon traditional lean principles. Lean has always been about eliminating waste, improving efficiency, and creating value for the customer. At its core, it relies on principles like standard work, Kaizen, visual management, and data-driven decision making. These principles have transformed manufacturing, healthcare, other industries by streamlining operations and reducing inefficiencies. But as industries evolve, some of the traditional lean approaches face new challenges. Market demand can be very fast and can demand more adaptability, and static lean processes can be slow to adjust. Processes generate large amounts of data, and manually tracking performance is inefficient. And variability in execution, even with standard work, human errors and inconsistencies persist. And this is where digital lean comes in. Um, Kind of the key message here is that lean principles remain the same, but digital lean enhances them using real-time data, automation, and predictive insights. Let's quickly revisit why standard work is a pillar of lean. The role of standard work is that it ensures consistency, efficiency, and quality. It serves as the foundation for continuous improvement. And without standard work, variation creeps in, making it difficult to scale lean manufacturing efforts. Many organizations still rely on paper-based work instructions that are outdated, hard to update, which is why they're outdated, and difficult to standardize across different teams. And this leads to errors, inefficiencies, and wasted time. In kind of a preview of what's coming, by leveraging the digital tools, we can make standard work more dynamic, interactive, and real time, ensuring that processes stay optimized and continuously improve. So even though standard work is a core lean principle, its traditional implementation often faces challenges. The paper-based work instructions are difficult to update across teams and locations, so they are static and they're difficult to change as frequently as they need to be. They have there's a lack of real-time visibility, so compliance with standard work relies on manual audits, which can be time-consuming and reactive. Even with standard work, different shifts and locations may interpret the instructions differently, so you can get variation across different teams. And making adjustments can require meetings, reprints, retraining, which delays the improvement of the process. So traditional standard work is essential, but can be too rigid, which slows down process improvements and doesn't provide real-time insights. Now, if we look at digital lean and compare it to traditional lean practices, it doesn't really replace lean, it just builds on lean, it evolves it by introducing Industry 4.0 technologies, and smart manufacturing to make lean practices faster, more accurate, and more scalable. So, if we look at a quick comparison of traditional lean versus digital lean, then we'll see that we replace paper-based static work instructions with digital work instructions. We replace manual observations and audits with IoT sensors and video analytics. Root cause analysis is done via direct observation and asking why and so forth. And within digital lean, we have much more data and we have AI to help augment the process, and we can provide structure to the analysis within systems. A lot of manual data entry can be replaced via automatic data capture, and the decision making that's based on historical trends and experience can be based on live performance analytics. And so, uh, very much uh, improving the efficiency of lean itself. So digital lean really optimizes and accelerates those lean improvements by leveraging that real-time data and automation. So digital lean relies on technology to enhance those lean principles, and here are some key enablers. Uh, Digital work instructions, most relevant to our conversation today. Standard work becomes interactive, and operators can follow dynamic step-by-step digital guides instead of printed manuals. And there's a variety of ways to deliver those to the worker, as we'll see in a minute. Updates are instantaneous across all the different shifts and locations, and we can have that integrated into the design systems and so forth, so that as things are changed in the PLM or in engineering, those can be reflected on the floor instantaneously. IoT sensors and video analytics can pull information from the process to make sure that people are actually following the standard work that's been defined. And if they're not, messages can be delivered to the floor to help reinforce how the standard work is supposed to be done. Automation and robotics can help reduce repetitive tasks. And this can be within the process itself and how the work is done, or it could be collecting information about the work and reducing the non value add manual tasks that are associated with the operation. So let's talk a little bit more about digital standard work itself. Uh, the goal here is to eliminate the static instructions. The work instructions become interactive and digital, no more paper manuals. The updates roll out instantly across all the different teams and locations. And employees can always follow the most up to date optimized process. So, an example could be that an operator uses a tablet instead of a printed manual, or they could have the work instructions directly projected onto the workstation itself, or in kind of the most forward looking way, you could be wearing the augmented reality glasses that basically overlay what you're supposed to be doing as you look at the work itself. The digital lean also enables the real time monitoring of standard work. So we can automatically track the adherence to the standard work. And leaders don't have to rely on manual audits, they get live insights. And when there is a process deviation, the system can flag that issue immediately, notify the worker themselves, the supervisor, whomever needs to be notified that there's been a deviation that takes place. And so, just as an example, real-time process monitoring system can detect when an operator skips a step or takes longer than expected, and the supervisor can get an instant alert and can help to correct that issue on the spot or identify what got in the worker's way that caused them to take longer than expected. Digital lean improves process consistency across the different teams and shifts. So standard work is centralized in a digital system, ensuring that everyone follows those same procedures. AR, augmented reality, or however those instructions are delivered, can provide that step by step guidance to reduce variability. Things can become much more visual. And so instead of printed work instructions that have to be interpreted by the worker, they can see exactly what this is supposed to look like. And then digitally also helps accelerate continuous improvement because the standard work is no longer static. If you do a Kaizen, you can immediately incorporate that into the standard work. And that can be updated, and you can track are workers adhering to the new methods so that you can avoid having that entropy take place, that uh, performance kind of degrades after that Kaizen team leaves to go to another process, and you maintain those new disciplines. And finally, standard work becomes really a living system. It's always up to date and continuously improving. Employees receive real time interactive guidance. Uh, AI and automation can be utilized to help continuously optimize the process, identifying where that standard work can be improved and incorporating that back into the standard work itself so that you create that feedback loop of improvement. And leadership can gain full visibility into the standard work compliance without the manual audits. So digital lean transform standard work from that static reactive process into a dynamic proactive system that continuously improves. So key benefits of digital standard work. It doesn't just replace the paper-based work instructions. It actually improves things in certain ways. First of all, the real-time accuracy and updates, because you're eliminating the outdated paper instructions. There's no confusion about which set of work instructions is correct. The right one is always displayed on the screen. So that improves consistency of the work, reducing variation and errors. It um, provides faster training and onboarding because you have these digital work instructions that are more highly visual and so forth. It can reduce the training time significantly, whether that's a new hire or somebody that's getting cross trained or somebody that's just stepping in because the primary operator was off that day. It can improve process adherence, again, because it helps provide those visual instructions and so forth. It also tracks the performance against that standard work so that real-time feedback can be put in place. It provides higher efficiency and productivity because employees spend less time searching for the work instructions. They don't have to take their attention away from the work itself to go look at the paper-based work instructions. They can maintain their focus on the work item itself because the work instructions can be displayed through AR or through the projection onto the workstation itself. You get better data for continuous improvement because you have that automatic data collection from digital lean with IoT and other sensors. You get to improve that process much more rapidly and have that feedback loop where you get that data feeding into the continuous improvement process. And then you have seamless integration with smart manufacturing systems in general, which means that you have better monitoring, you have more information to improve the process, you have more visibility from management about what is actually happening on the shop floor and so forth. So digital standard work doesn't just document the best way to do a task, it can help to continuously improve it using that real-time data. So I've talked a lot about how digital helps to improve standard work, but standard work actually makes digital more successful as well. So let me spend some time talking about that. So why is standard work so essential for digital to succeed? And At its core, lean is about eliminating waste and process efficiency or improving efficiency. And standard work is what helps to ensure consistency, repeatability, and control in that process. However, when organizations try to digitize their lean initiatives without first establishing the strong standard work, they run into major challenges. Um, just like with most automation, if you don't optimize the process first, then digital tools will amplify the inefficiencies if the processes aren't stable when you start. Um, Inconsistent workflows can create unreliable data. So if you have AI or other analytics that are depending on quality data, if you have a lot of variability in the process and how the process is done, those systems aren't going to be as effective because that variability exists. And then also technology adoption itself fails because the employees aren't following a standardized structured process. And so if you don't standardize, you can't optimize. Digital lean works best when it's built on a foundation of stable, repeatable processes. One of the biggest benefits of digital lean is the ability to make faster, data driven decisions. But that really only works if the data is reliable, and standard work helps to ensure that reliability. So if you have consistent standard work, if you think about a traditional Ishikawa diagram, and you think about the primary contributors to variability within a process, you have man is the first one, then you have machine, and then you have method. And if you have consistent standard work and you have consistent adherence to that standard work, you're eliminating or at least heavily mitigating two of the primary contributions to the process variability. And so without standard work, data from digital systems is inconsistent, making real time problem solving ineffective. One of the biggest barriers to digital lean adoption is employee resistance to new technology. Standard work helps to bridge that gap. Employees sometimes resist technologies if they don't understand the process first. Standard work simplifies the learning curve for those digital tools, and it helps make the digital adoption easier and less disruptive because it's integrated into the way that people think about their jobs. It's integrated into the digital, or it's integrated into that standard approach that they're taking every day anyway. And so this just becomes another element of that standard work that they're already doing. And so standard work helps make digital adoption smoother by providing structure and stability before introducing those new tools. So standard work also helps to enable continuous improvement. The digital tools provide real-time feedback, but standard work helps to ensure that changes are documented and sustained. And then automation and AI and so forth can continuously refine the process without disrupting that stability. And it just becomes another element within that continuous improvement process. Standard work also helps enable technology scaling. Um, when you have the standardized processes, it allows rapid expansion to other sites because you've standardized what that process looks like across your different facilities. And digital standardized work also helps to ensure consistent training and execution across different locations. So, standard work helps to ensure that digital lean improvements are sustainable and scalable across different teams, shifts, and locations. Now, most of the focus with standard work and digital standard work is usually on the operators, and that's very understandable. But now that we've covered why standard work is essential at that level is essential for digital lean success, let's shift our focus to the leadership and the support staff, the people that are responsible for ensuring that those lean principles aren't just implemented but sustained over time. And when we talk about standard work, like I said, most people are thinking about those frontline workers following consistent, repeatable steps. But without standard work for leadership and support teams, lean initiatives often fail. And so, if we just think about what happens when lean leadership and support teams lack standard work themselves, they have inconsistent engagement with the lean initiatives. A lot of decisions are based on gut feelings rather than data. Employees receive mixed signals about their priorities. And, why should the operators have to embrace standard work and lean and so forth if leadership isn't doing it as well? And then there's no structured approach to driving continuous improvement. But if leadership and support teams are following standard work, then those lean behaviors are reinforced every day. You're modeling the change that you want to see in others. Digital tools are integrated into that structured decision making process, and continuous improvement is embedded into the culture, and issues are addressed proactively instead of reactively. And so, leadership standard work helps to ensure that digital lean isn't just a project, it becomes a sustained operational strategy. To make leadership standard work efficient and scalable, digital tools play a key role. Real-time dashboards, leaders can review process or performance trends without waiting for manual reports to come up. It helps to prioritize improvement efforts based on predictive analytics. Uh, IoT and video analytics help enable leaders to monitor compliance remotely. So you can do a virtual Gemba walk, and you can have more information with you when you do a physical Gemba walk. And then collaboration tools help keep leadership and cross-functional tools aligned and help keep that communication and that transparency in place. And so digital lean enhances that leadership standard work, making it easier to sustain and scale lean improvements. And Thursday, I'm going to be doing another webinar on data-driven leadership, where I'll get a lot more into this topic. So before we wrap up today, let's quickly summarize the key points from today's session. Standard work is absolutely one of the foundations of digital lean, and without it, automation only amplifies inefficiencies. Digital standard work helps to transform those static work instructions into real-time data-driven processes. Leadership and support teams need standard work to sustain lean improvements. And technology helps to enhance lean, not to replace it. So anything like IoT, automation, AI, video must align with the structured processes. And another thing that we covered is that not only does digital help standard work, but standard work very much helps digital as well. And then if there's one thing to take away from today, it's that digital lean is only as strong as the standard work that supports it. So let's connect. If you'd like to learn more about how to implement digital standard work in your organization, contact me for more details through any of the methods on the screen. The QR code that's there, if you scan that, will take you to the Visual Decisions website for more information. Thank you very much.